Well, it's looping. It's not supposed to loop. There we go.
Who's loopy? Who you calling loopy? Anyways, hello everybody. Welcome to the Rewatchers Council. This is our Let's Get Ready Network full 144 and a bit-ish episode rewatch of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Snark, my buddy Adelia, the other council member here. You'll notice we're a council member down. Ferris heard that there's trouble in Cleveland, so he's on official council business. Guys,
Cleveland.
Episode 4, Teacher's Pet, an episode I always love. The most Xander-ific episode of the season. Obviously, the first truly Xander-ish episodes so far in the series, as we're only 4 episodes in.
Yep.
Okay, let's see what's happening with this episode. It was written by David Greenwald. Now, if that sounds familiar to you, David Greenwald goes on to write 10 episodes of Buffy. He also then becomes an executive producer of the show. He goes on to co-create another show called Angel, which we'll talk about later. Also, I guess he co-created a show Grimm. Did you ever see Grimm?
I remember Grimm. I never watched it.
Yeah, I remember it. I don't like came out at that same time as that other one on ABC, the one that was like about Snow White, and it had
the Once Upon a Time.
Upon a Time, yeah, that stuff. So David Greenwald, a large figure in the lore of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It was directed by Bruce Seth Green. Now, if you think he's related to somebody that you'll get to meet later on, you'd be wrong. He's actually no relations at all. He's did direct a whole bunch of stuff. He ends up retiring in 2001. I have no idea why, but he did things like Knight Rider and Hercules. You'll notice his name again. I think he does 8 episodes, maybe the most ever directed by one person on the show. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure it's right near the top. Anyways, the original air date, Adelia, March 24th, 1997. Do you remember where you were?
Probably in high school.
Nobody does. Are you kidding me? Actually, I know where I was that week because, well, we can say that the 2 number 1 songs in America and in the UK haven't changed. So it's a Can't Nobody Hold Me Down, double negative. Come on, guys, do better. Not great. And then the worst Spice Girl song to ever hit number 1, Mama / Who Do You Think You Are? Terrible song. Not great. Yeah. But the number 1 movie that week, and I saw it in the theater, so I was probably in there at the weekend anyways. Liar, Liar, Adelia.
Oh.
Liar, Liar.
Very classic.
Yeah, is it considered a classic? I guess so.
By some people, I suppose.
Yeah, I've seen it maybe one other time, I guess. I liked it, and there's nothing wrong with it, but I know it's not one I go back to very much.
Yeah.
The DVD synopsis. This one's a little right on the nose, all right? Xander falls for a beautiful substitute teacher who's actually a she-mantis intent on mating with, then decapitating virginal boys. So I'd be in trouble, wouldn't I? All right. So we start out at the Bronze. And Buffy's in tough. Fighting a vampire. Luckily, Xander heroically intervenes.
This is the moment I knew it was a dream sequence.
Yeah. Another vampire with a heart so large that it doesn't matter what side of the body. Like, come on. Okay, stunt guys. The one thing you have to do if you're a vampire, not guide the stake into the right side of the body.
Yeah.
Go the other side. He's close, but I just make sure it's a big, long heart. Their hearts become twice as big, just like the Grinch.
There you go.
Yeah, and that guitar he's playing is a BC Rich Warlock, by the way. That's like a old school 80s heavy metal style guitar. I think Blackie Lawless used to play that guitar. Blackie Lawless from Wasp. Has nothing to do with the episode whatsoever. I do like that line, though. Finish my solo and kiss you like you've never been kissed before. And then guess waking up
So cheesy.
Buffy was saying, "You're drooling." What? It's like, let's see how much you've been paying attention in class here, Delia. Well, first we meet Dr. Gregory. He's played by William Monahan. Again, it's one of those faces that you'd think has done a lot, but I only found a few things that I would know him from. Maybe Felicity, Party of Five, which is a show that not many people talk about. Not enough. It was a good show. And The Practice.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, he's teaching a class on bugs. That seemed to work out for this episode, I think. Now,
Mm-hmm.
see if you've been paying attention. It's test time, flash test. What are the two ways ants communicate?
Touch and smell.
It's BO, it seems. Okay, you're right. Buffy says BO. I do like little things or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, another teacher that knows all about Buffy's transcripts. But at least this guy thinks Buffy will go on to do great things.
Mm-hmm.
I put in brackets on my little notes, like Voldemort. You know what I mean. Let's make them eat that permanent record, which is a very nice thing to say. There isn't too many authority figures that are there to build up Buffy, besides like Giles and
Yeah.
once in a while her mom. So it was nice. And so, of course, he's immediately eaten.
Immediately killed.
Immediately. Yeah, he didn't even make it to the theme song. Yeah, gone. Now, we go back to the bronze. This time it's no dream. It's not a dream this time. The band playing. I found out the name of the band, Adelia. Super
Okay.
fine. Super fine.
Super fine.
That's a good 90s thing. That's why I put in the thing. It's like,
It's a good 90s name for a band.
Yeah. I know a band called Supergrass from the 90s. They were good too. This is super fine. They look like a terrible band, but what are you going to do? It's a good name. So we meet Blaine. Now, Blaine is a loudmouth jock, bit of an asshole kid.
Mm-hmm.
100% he's going to die by the end of this episode, right?
It makes you think that for sure.
100% this kid's going to get it. Angel comes in. It's the first time Willow and Xander ever see Angel. Willow gets it right on the nose. Oh, that must be Angel. Like, sees him for 1 second. Oh, that's the guy. That's the guy for sure. Now,
Yeah.
iconic moment coming up for the show. This is when Angel gives Buffy his jacket.
Mm-hmm.
And she never gives it back throughout the whole series. She just steals his jacket. Well, he does say that, you can have it. Looks better on you. Blah 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 blah. I think he's fine. I don't think he's going to get too chilly
I don't think
without
so.
it. There's something about him that makes me think,
Yeah.
he might be fine without a jacket. He's got scratch marks on him. More cryptic talk, but Angel about how he's gonna rip her throat out. Talks a little bit about the Master. We still haven't seen the Master yet. And then we find out that Dr. Gregory is missing. And then we meet the new sub, Mrs. French. Now, have you ever had anything that was a Mandela effect? You know what that is?
Not off the top of my head today, I don't.
Mandela effect is, I guess, when people are so sure of something in their head, they think it's true, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
a lot of people thought that Nelson Mandela died in prison. I think that's where it came from, right? Now, forever, and I mean forever, I mean until I actually did the notes on the show a couple days ago. I believed that Mrs. French was portrayed by this lady. That's Melinda Clark.
Mm-hmm.
An actress in the 90s, bunch of things. She was in like Spawn, for instance, and then Firefly, a bunch of stuff, a bunch of stuff. Actually, she's portrayed by a lady named Musetta Vander. I think that's pretty close.
They look very similar.
Pretty close.
They're doppelgangers for sure.
Could share the same checks for God's sakes. Yeah, so she's done a bunch of credits. I guess she's South African. That's what the accent was. I thought it was just some kind of weird accent she was doing, trying to be a bug, but nope, that's a Afrikaans accent. She's been in things like NCIS. That's why I wrote it down because a certain council member watches those kind of shows. Hawaii Five-O, another one.
Mhm.
And I guess she was in an episode of Son of the Beach. Now, Son of the Beach, if you haven't seen it, it's a parody show about parodies, Baywatch kind of thing. It the co-star in it is Jamie Bergman. Jamie Bergman is Mrs. David Boreanaz. So that's the only
Oh.
reason why. There you go. The only reason why I wanted to mention it. So she asks Xander where the science room is. Xander, mystified. The girls when he begs for help, just shrug at him. I love that. I
This
loved
is
it.
so funny.
Yeah, and then here comes Blaine. Blaine with all the confidence in the world because he's such a popular guy. Manages to talk to her. Gives Xander the poor pat on the back. They go in. Now, Mrs. French seems to know a lot about praying mantises, so it's a good thing they were
Mm-hmm.
teaching bug class. And talk about having several hundred offspring. Quick question. How would you manage having several hundred offspring?
I would hate it.
I'd move away.
Yeah.
To be fair, one's too many. Way too many. Also, how about this? Have you ever just made a model egg sack for your science fair, like out
No,
of nowhere?
absolutely not.
Let's all make paper mache egg sacks for the science fair. Everybody do the same one. Yeah, whatever. Good line from Buffy here. Call me old fashioned. I don't want any more. Or sorry, this is Will. Call me old fashioned. I don't want any more surprises in my hot dogs.
Yeah, that was a great line.
It was great, and of course, Cordy has a medically prescribed lunch.
Of course. Like, what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh well, she talks a little bit more about it in a bit. She only shows up in a few scenes, but she just nails it every time. She's so great. Yeah. Then of course, Cordy finds the body of Dr. Gregory, and when I say body, I mean that's it. There's no head.
Yeah.
And another body inside of something in that school. One of the only teachers also that Giles likes. I think he likes another teacher better than Dr. Gregory, who we'll meet in a little while. I can't remember
Mhm.
I can't remember if this season or next season. I think it's this season. I think, but I'm not sure. But yeah, that's it. Buffy's broken up by it. It's pretty hard. They're gonna find out who did this, Adelia. And I
Mhm.
don't know if they're gonna do it, but I think they're gonna just do their best. They might not be able to do it. And they recently think it may have something to do with that fork guy who attacked Angel.
Yep.
Yeah. Giles says, please promise me you don't do anything rash. She says, cross my heart. All right. How about this? So she gets to the park. We've
Mhm.
already seen Buffy get out of school by leaping over a fence way higher. This time she just climbs over the fence.
Yeah.
Come on. What's up with that? Also, it's almost like she has radar because she's walking around. Of course, a couple of homeless people in that park. So it's like, whatever. Even Sunnydale, I guess, has displaced people, which is nice.
Mhm.
Which is nice to know. But she like 100% finds this guy in like 2 seconds. It's like, oh, there's these two bushes in here. they shouldn't be here. This is where this guy's got to be. So she's basically fighting a Freddy Krueger Wolverine.
Yeah.
Why would a vampire need a metal forks on his hands? Like it's like he had to have his own
I
thing.
don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, this guy starts running away, sees Mrs. French, and is terrified.
Yes.
Now, Buffy gets back to school, and then she's oh my gosh, she's very into getting some homework done, finding out all she can about Mrs. French. She's going to class, and here comes Principal Flutie.
This guy again.
So great. He's so great.
He was.
Yeah, you got to go to your crisis counseling, and you're not supposed to say the words like dead or decapitated or decomposing.
Any of the D's. He said.
yeah, any of the D's. Buffy overhears Cordelia in there. I don't know what now. I have no idea why Willow and Xander didn't have to go to this because they were right there too. But
yeah,
Cordy's there. She's talking about how she's lost 7.5 ounces. And then she says, I'm not saying we should kill a teacher a day so I can lose weight. I'm just saying when tragedy strikes, we have to look on the bright side.
Yeah. Cordelia is the best.
She's the fucking best. She's the best. The Mrs. French helps out Xander with the test. Buffy gets to the window, and then we get the full-on exorcist twist.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's 1996/97 special effects on television.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think they could maybe did a little bit better, but I think it's campy fun nonetheless. But so Buffy says the exorcist twist. Blaine has a one-on-one with Mrs. French after school, and he doesn't show up the next day.
Yeah.
Xander goes to talk to her to find out when he gets to do his. This is when we find out Xander's middle name is, do you remember?
Lavelle.
Lavelle, which is an awesome name. Lavelle Harris.
Yeah.
He could have been in like a late 80s R&B sensation with that name. Oh, Lavelle. That's a good one. So you get to come over to the house at 7:30 at night. All right. Now, this is when she makes herself a snack.
This is disgusting.
A delicious cricket sandwich.
Ugh.
You're telling wait a minute. Hold on a second. Are you telling me that you've never had a cricket sandwich?
No. Nor will I ever.
You know what? I've had cricket before. I've had 2 ways. A chocolate covered cricket, which was whatever. It tastes like chocolate. But friends of mine went to Mexico and brought back a bottle of hot sauce, and it was made with cricket. I'm going to tell you right now, it's one of the most delicious things I've ever had. It's a fantastic hot sauce.
I can't do that. Especially the way she ate them where they were still moving.
Yeah. I guess it's television, a little television magic. Yeah, but you know what? I thought the grossest part was like the dirt or whatever that was with it too.
Yeah.
Like there's the crickets, but then there's like, what is that? Is that like eggs?
So gross. So
yeah.
gross.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat anything living. I'm not a monster.
Yeah.
Now, 2 of my all-time favorite line reads are in this episode. The one's coming up right away. All right. First off, Buffy is the one who figures it out first that she's a praying mantis.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else is dubious. So good for her. She's doing her homework, just like Dr. Gregory would have wanted. And this is where the first of the line reads comes in. When Buffy says her outfit screams predator, Willow says, it's the shoulder pads. And then she turns to Giles, totally straight face, and just says, exactly. I love that scene. I loved it.
It was great.
Yeah.
That was great.
And then it's like, oh, we're gonna do bad things on the internet again, and Giles says, wasn't here, didn't see it, couldn't have stopped you. No, yeah, all right, good. Uh, Xander thinks Buffy's jealous of
Yeah.
yeah. I would have, delusion is a nice place to live sometimes, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It makes him feel good. And then he is still jealous, actually, of Angel. 'Cause it's like, what kind of name? What kind of girly name is Angel anyway?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, I actually know lots of guys named Angel these days. I don't know if it's because of the show or maybe because of where they were born. Maybe that's it. But yeah, I know a lot of people named Angel these days. Uh, so he gets to Mrs. French's house, and she is wearing something unschool like. Let's just say that.
Very.
Xander's a little nervous. She makes a couple martinis. A martini for a 15-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Xander's never had a drink before, but he, like, martinis are 2 ounces of pure alcohol.
He just downs the thing in one gulp.
Yes. And obviously, there must be something else to it because she's saying things to him like, have you ever been with a woman before? And he's kind of out of it. And he talks about Buffy real quick. And then Mrs. French's hands start cheering or changing when he starts to touch him and says, your hands are really serrated.
Yeah.
And that's the last you see. Now, one of the reasons I love the show, and this is another show that we like to watch, Doctor Who. I appreciate the old Doctor Who. I appreciate the fact that their costumes and stuff like that cost like $30. Like these guys did not spend money over there. And what this praying mantis thing was, and this is why they shoot it all dark and stuff. It's just an old costume from a Babylon 5 or whatever that they found. And they said, oh, we'll just use this. So there you go. See that Willow kind of has a crush on Xander.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just something that'll play out in a little while. We find out Blaine's alive in a cage in Mrs. French's basement. For some reason, she kept him alive
Yeah.
and tells Xander all about her mating ritual. So there was somebody else there, obviously, that
Mm-hmm.
nobody found out about it. I guess if they don't go to the school, it didn't count in the first season, I suppose. But it's some virginal guy. I guess you don't have to be a kid in school to be a virgin. Anyways, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. So they Giles has a conversation with an insane person in England, and this is when he tells her about she mantis. So it's a good thing Giles is always the one who had the most doubts, but knew exactly who to call
Yeah.
about what this is. And then yeah, he gets the deal or whatever. Yeah, talks with Buffy. Buffy's the one who has the most hard time under believing that Xander's a virgin.
Yeah.
I yeah, not Willow. Willow knows who Xander is, obviously. So Buffy does some quick talking or whatever. She's been doing her homework. She tells Giles to record some bat sonar, Adelia, because
Mm-hmm.
bat sonars make mantis nervous systems go kaplooey. Who knew?
Yeah.
I don't. I don't
I
know.
mean,
Like,
sure.
and she tells him to go to the video library because that's where it'll be. It's like, why would they have bat sonar there at the video library?
Maybe a video on bats
Jeez.
that has that or something. I don't know.
Anyways, so we go back to Mrs. French's house, and of course Blaine throws Xander under the bus. Everybody else is running around. They find out where Mrs. French lives. They get to Mrs. French's or Miss French's house, and it is certainly not Miss French.
No. It's
Do you
just
recognize who it was?
I don't know who that was. No.
Her name is Jean Spiegel Howard.
Okay.
She is Ron Howard's mom. She's been
Oh,
in
okay.
tons of Ron Howard stuff. I don't know if you remember Apollo 13. Says
Mm-hmm.
about it, you can do whatever and my boy can fly it. Yeah, that's her. She used to be in a bunch of his stuff. Obviously, it'd be tougher for her to be in the things now. She passed away a little while ago, guys. It's okay. I think she lived a pretty long life. And then the Scoobies are sort of talking to each other. And she says, "Oh, she could be anywhere." Adelia and Miss French pipes up, "No, dear, I'm right here." I love that line
Mm-hmm.
too. It was great. Uh, then they said, "Well, there's one way we can find out." So Buffy takes a couple, like 2 minutes to go and find Wolverine, undead
Yep.
Wolverine again, and now using him as a bloodhound. I like this scene quite a bit as well. And of course, there's a picket fence right
Of
out front.
course. Of course, there's a picket fence.
Yeah, and a low one, like a low one. So it says, "Oh, I'll just take this." But also, no dust.
No dust.
That's two vampires in this episode, and no dust. And actually, there was a bunch in the first two episodes too, in Welcome to the Hellmouth and the Harvest that don't dust either. So it's a little on and off. It's a little on and off to start out the show. It's fine. They're gonna get to it eventually. They're still figuring out what they got. Buffy brings bug spray. It's not something we saw her bring before, but I guess she had it. It's like, oh, we're gonna zap them with the bat sonar, and it's just Giles's notes again. So great. It's a great
Yeah.
little bit, and then he's told to slice and dice, and so Buffy does that, eviscerating Miss French bit by bit.
Yeah.
Hairs in a chicken. And then we go to everyone finding out that Xander's a virgin, and he's like, "Oh, what?" And then says, "Well, isn't this the perfect end to the perfect day?" It's like,
Yeah.
so good. And now here's where my second of the two favorite line reads of the episode comes in. Willow saying, "I don't think it's bad. I think it's really sweet." Will Sanders pulling the sword up and says, "But certainly nothing I'll ever bring up again."
Yeah. That was great.
Yes, Xander makes some scrambled eggs. We get to see them back at the Bronze Inn. It looks like Buffy's. This is where she starts getting the hots for Angel. We got a new science teacher who's a stick in the mud. Buffy,
6-page long-term papers.
yeah,
Good
no,
Lord.
no more, no less, Adelia.
Yeah.
No more, no less. It's worth 40% of your mark. No more, no less. This guy does not scream like he's going to be positive influence in Buffy's life. I can tell you that. Also, probably never see him again. Now, Buffy puts away Dr. Gregory's glasses, but we see more eggs.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, we're gonna have to fight more praying mantis people again, right?
One would think.
No, we never do. It's never
Yeah.
shown again. They do this a few times or whatever. It's like, oh, there's a nice little thing or whatever. Maybe they'll come back to it. No, no, that's it. Never do. Now, it's a fantastic episode. The next episode is pretty amazing as well. Never kill a boy on the first date, Adelia. It's coming.
Ooh.
The anointed one is coming. Oh, yes, you don't know the first season very well.
No, I've never seen the first season.
Okay, this is probably the first highlight episode of the season, in my opinion. Like if
Okay.
you're, yeah, if it's the first one, it's the first one that you have to see after the first two. Like you have to see this one. It progresses the story. The master's back. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, and I can't wait to watch it. I'm so excited to get to watch it now. Anyways, that's it for this
I
one.
can't. Yeah, I can't wait to watch it either.
Teacher's Pet. Yeah, you don't get too many Xander-ific episodes. I'm thinking of this one. I'm thinking of the Zephyr. Of course, Zephyr is probably better. Uh, yeah, but I think for the first one, yeah, I think it was good. It has it's one of the funnier episodes of the season for sure.
Hmm. It was really good. I really enjoyed this episode. Um, I can't wait for next week's episode.
Yeah, we're gonna have to remind somebody to watch the episode, and we can remind all of you to join us back next week, right here on Rewatchers Council. Delia, what do you have going on besides this?
Well, starting 11, we'll be back on Tuesday. We took a little break this week for the international break. So that's 3 p.m. Pacific on the highlights channel. Link to the channel in the description of this episode. And Friday, we've got the open table, me and Ferris discussing our differing tastes in music. And it's Thanksgiving today on the day that this airs for those of us in the United States. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Turkey Day. Up here in Canada, we've done it at a decent time of year. We
Mm-hmm.
did it last month. Yeah, actually, we're having pretty good weather. We could have actually hung in with you guys this year. So there's
Yeah.
that. Well, happy Thanksgiving to all you American folks. As for me, the Let's Get Ready After Snark show will be back this weekend. I have no idea what Danny and I will be talking about. We better figure it out beforehand, I guess, since we're on YouTube and we have to have titles for things. Other than that, is probably whatever we want to talk about, just like usual. And until then, we will see all of you later. Thanks for watching.